Hey friends, it's Elise. Today I wanted to start a new reading vlog because I'm going to be starting my 100th read of the year. I did take a poll on YouTube and Bookstagram to try to get some input if there's a specific book that you guys wanted to see me read for my 100th book of the year. I was hoping that there would be a repeat of books, so like the book that had the most suggestions would be the book that I read, but that didn't happen. I did get a suggestion to read a book that is a 5-star prediction for me, so I decided that I would just go with that. The book that I have chosen to read is Rachel Harrison's new book, Black Sheep. I read Cackle last month. I did really enjoy it, but it was only a 4-star. I think between Rachel Harrison's writing and the premise of this story, which I don't actually know super well, I think it has to do with like a religious cult, I believe. I don't know. It sounds really good, and I'm in my pink era right now. I am obsessed with pink. I mean, this is just a perfect pick. I think it's cool too when spooky books especially have pink on the cover. And I've got my little bookmark corner and book sleeve from Happy Go Lovely Sleeves. I'm going to be starting this right now. I have my soy pumpkin chai latte from Starbucks, and I've got my candle going, and I'm going to get it started. It's just under 300 pages, and I do have the audiobook so I can tandem read. Here is the synopsis. This book did just come out. I don't know if it came out in October or if it came out in September, but it just came out. A cynical 20-something must confront her unconventional family's dark secrets in this fiery, irreverent horror novel from the author of Such Sharp Teeth and Cackle. I did also pick up Such Sharp Teeth. Last year when this first came out, I was able to snag it from my library like the first week that it was out. And I started it, but I soft DNF'd it because I had to take it back to the library. I didn't have an audiobook for it or anything, so I was kind of trudging through it pretty slowly. I liked what I read of it, but like I said, I had to take it back to the library. But after finishing Cackle last month, I'm like, I think Rachel Harrison could be for me. So I ended up getting Such Sharp Teeth as well as Black Sheep. But I love this one too because there's pink on this one as well. Anyways, I hate doing this now. I can't get it's such an ordeal getting that back on the shelf. Hopefully it won't fall on me. Okay. Nobody has a normal family, but Vesper writes is truly something else. Vesper left home at 18 and never looked back, mostly because she was told that leaving the staunchly religious community she grew up in meant she couldn't return. Then an envelope arrives on her doorstep. Inside is an invitation to the wedding of Vesper's beloved cousin Rosie. It's to be hosted at the family farm. Have they made an exception to the rule? It wouldn't be the first time Vesper's been given special treatment. Is the invite a sweet gesture, an olive branch, a trap? Doesn't matter. Something inside her insists she goes to the wedding, even if it means returning to the toxic environment she escaped, even if it means reuniting with her mother, Constance, a former horror film star and forever ice queen. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever read the synopsis of this. I've heard things, and this was actually one of the picks for the Aardvark book club this month, and they do storyboards for all of their picks, and the storyboard for this one looked amazing. Obviously, I didn't pick this one from Aardvark. I actually skipped October because I had already ordered this. I am going to sit down and get started with that, and then I will update you once I've read a bit. Page 108, chapter 7. This book had a bit of a twist. I don't know, about 50 pages in or so, and it took me by surprise. But you know what? I'm kind of digging this. We have Vesper. The book starts out, she is working at a restaurant and she's dealing with these annoying customers. And so we're just kind of getting a peek into her personality and, you know, what kind of person that she is. Well, when she gets home, she discovers an envelope, and the envelope is an invitation for her cousin's wedding back home. What we as the readers are told is that her family is extremely religious, and we're kind of led to believe that it's so religious to the point where it is a bit of a cult. Vesper, she does not believe what her family believes. She pulled away from that, and she escaped from her family. She was kind of exiled in a way, so she was not welcome to come back home. So the fact that she got this wedding invitation is unusual. She's very surprised by it, but she has nothing better to do, so she ends up going home. So she gets there and we're, meeting people of her family, and her mom, Constance, is a very interesting character, and I'm very drawn to her, and I'm very curious to see what we learn more about Constance, because she's the one that was described as being an ice queen. She is a famous horror actress, and she has long, gorgeous black hair. I kind of picture her as Catherine Zeta-Jones. Everyone is basically really surprised to see Vesper there, which is confusing to Vesper because she received an invitation. So she's like, okay, who invited me? Everyone is happy to see her. They're happy that she came back home, and she has to kind of keep telling people, I've not come back home. I'm not returning. I'm just here for the wedding. There's descriptions of the home decor, and then there's a bit of a reveal at dinner, which completely changes your perspective on what is going on. And I got to that part, and you will have seen kind of my reaction immediately after reading that, because as soon as I read it, I had to grab my camera and film a little bit of my reaction. Now on to chapter 7. We are the day of the wedding. So right now they're just kind of getting ready. The bride and the bridesmaids are getting ready, and Vesper is kind of reacquainting herself with the house that she grew up in. There are definitely going to be people that this is going to be a hard pass. Once you get to a certain part in the book, it's not going to be for everybody. I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it, because I think going into this not knowing, specifically if this is your thing, going into it not really knowing, I don't want to take that away from you. So I personally am very intrigued, and I am a horror fan, so I'm digging this. So I have about 70 pages left, and there have certainly been some developments. I am really liking this. It is very different than anything else that I've read before. Shortly after my last update, I got a theory about something, but I wouldn't say that it was because I was catching on really well. The book was kind of hinting at it a little bit, and then there was another reveal that happened, so my theory turned out to be accurate. I don't even really know what to say. This is definitely a unique book. So I guess right now I'm kind of getting... there's a few movies that I have in mind. If you like this movie, then you might like this book. But again, I do feel like that's going to spoil the book. But I can say if you are a fan of Black Mirror, there's one episode in particular that I'm thinking of that this is kind of giving me vibes of. And it's one of the newer episodes. If you are a fan of horror and if you don't have any major triggers surrounding religion, then I think that this would be a good book. Now, because I have only read Cackle by Rachel Harrison, I don't know what her other books are like, but I have heard her referred to as cozy horror. This one I would not classify as cozy horror. This one I would classify as straight up horror. Just with the content of the story and a few things that have happened, I would definitely say that this is more horror than cozy horror. And also trigger warning for death of an animal. It's not super detailed or anything, but it is an on-page event that happens. But it was breezed over pretty quickly in the book, so it didn't really affect me. I didn't like hearing about it. I just was like, ooh, and then it quickly moved on from there. Just a heads up as far as that goes. And it is now after midnight at this point, so kids have been in bed for a while. Yeah, I got home, had to get the kids showered, get prepped for the week, some laundry, change bedding instead of reading. I think the audio said I have about an hour left, so I should be able to finish this after work tomorrow. Honestly, I do really just want to stay up and read it. It would only be 1 o'clock in the morning. No. I would absolutely hate myself if I stayed up that late. No, I need to go to bed. Okay, good night. I dreamed about in your memory. Is this really where I belong? Please don't make me wait too long. I'm throwing up my head. I finished Black Sheep. I'm not disappointed, but I feel like for most of the book, I was kind of leaning towards a 5-star, honestly. I really was. I enjoy the writing. I think Rachel Harrison has a really good writing style. I like her characters, like Vesper. She's it. Vesper is it. And the name Vesper, I looked it up. I'm pretty sure it means something about nighttime, like of the night or something like that. The name Vesper is primarily a gender-neutral name of Latin origin that means evening. Anyways, I love the name Vesper. I absolutely love it. So I don't take issue with where the story went, but it didn't go where I was hoping, and I didn't love how it ended. I wanted to give it a 5-star, like majority of the book. I was like, this is giving me 5-star. Even in the beginning of this video, that was why I picked this book, because it was giving me 5-star vibes. I felt like this would do what Cackle didn't, and it does. This is not a cozy horror. This is horror. So don't go into this thinking it's going to be cute little spiders. This book is very dark. There's plenty in here to have issue with. There were 2 things in particular that happened in this book that kind of made me go, ugh. One of them I did mention in one of my last updates, and that is death of an animal. Likewise, there is a scene of an act of violence taking place. It has to pertain to something that is a trigger for me specifically. It was kind of hard to read. Aside from those 2 things, I was mostly okay. This compared to Cackle, 2 completely different sides of the horror genre. I personally loved this. This is a very, very strong 4-star. There's a lot that I want to say, but again, I don't want to spoil it. So it's hard to warn against a trigger without spoiling. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me on my journey to reading my 100th book of 2023. This was a success. I really enjoyed my time reading this. I'm very curious to hear more ratings on this one. It's probably going to be pretty polarizing, but I'm very, very excited to see more people read this and hear everybody's thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye!